Dude, this football season sucks. I'm just gonna flat out put it up there, especially for me right now. Not only are the Chiefs eliminated this past week, but Patrick Mahomes goes down with an ACL and LCL tear. I hate it here. Hey there, peeps. Detective, as a Chiefs fan, my life is a living hell right now, uwu. And welcome back to more pick'ems this week. And it's not like my pick'ems are going any better than the Chiefs' regular season has been going on right now. This is the third straight week where I've got at least 6 losses. I went 9-7 this past week. I definitely could have gone a lot better. A couple of upsets happened, like on Thursday Night Football. I completely whiffed on a couple picks, like the Bengals game. The Patriots I did not expect to collapse. Stuff like that, all happening around the board. And yeah, it just was not a great week to be a Chiefs fan or just a fan in this area, especially rooting for K State this year. Has been for ass for football. So it's just I'm just hoping to at least get things straight. Like I said, I have not had a record with at most 4 losses since week 12. So hopefully that changes this week. I really need to get back into the swing of things. Otherwise, I'm going to hit that 100 mark. At the very least, I did secure a winning season this year in terms of pick'ems. So, I'll take that any day of the week. But unfortunately, outside of that, things have not been looking very great for me in terms of pick'ems. And just overall, things have not gone out great for pick'ems. It's week 16 now. We got 3 weeks left in the season. 16 games. 40. I got 48 games left to predict, and it can only get better from here, right? Definitely can't get any worse. uh, yeah. Anyways, we got 16 games to predict this week as well. A couple of interesting games, couple like meh games, but you also got maybe a handful of playoff implications going on this week. So hopefully we get a little bit more of an idea of what this playoff picture is going to look like, especially in the AFC, which is now wide open since the Chiefs have been eliminated. Um, it's going to be a really, really interesting year this year, and I absolutely hate it so much. But, anyways, getting on to the predictions this week, we have a fantastic Thursday night football game for like once on paper, and once that's actually going to play out in the games. You got the Los Angeles Rams sitting at 11-3, taking on the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 11-3. Yes, you got two teams that have at least 11 wins, I believe for the first time in NFL history playing on Thursday Night Football, which is actually a nice feat. The Rams, um, the Rams, they did some stuff well against the Lions. They took care of business. A huge game for the Rams to win. Keep pace and keep control of the lead over Seattle in the NFC West race at the moment. Stafford had a pretty good day. 368 total yards, 24 of 38 completed pass attempts, 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick on the day, but still overall great day for the Rams in terms of the offensive game. You did have a little bit of controversy in this game as well on the touchdown pass on one of the Rams drives, but still you can't really be complaining too much, especially when you're trying to keep pace with the Seahawks in terms of the division, which you're controlling right now because of the tiebreaker. In terms of the Seahawks, that was an escape. Definitely an escape. Seattle had to kick six field goals to beat the Colts without scoring any touchdowns. But hey, honestly, you'll take wins these days as you can get them, especially in a wide open NFC race. for the division, at least in the NFC West. But still, these two teams played each other a few weeks ago with the Rams taking care of business. Although the last time Seattle played a really really bad game in Los Angeles and still nearly came up with the win. Um, the problem is I don't know how consistent Seattle's offense has been. I mean, the defense has actually played really, really well this season, but unfortunately for the Seahawks, the offense has not been able to find a consistent groove. But in this, they do tend to rebound pretty well. As for the Rams, they got the offense going a lot better since that horrid Panthers game a few weeks ago, and Stafford has looked pretty damn good. I think in terms of this game, it's going to be a really tight game, and I would not be surprised to see Seattle win this. And as much as I don't like picking Seattle to get season swept by the Rams this season, I am going to go with the LA Rams in this one. It's going to be a really interesting game overall. Is the defense of Seattle going to be able to contain the LA offense? What's going to happen with the Seattle offense at the other side of the ball? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I think the Rams do take this one. It's going to be a really close game and a really good game tonight. At 7:15 Central Standard Time. Unfortunately, I'm going to be missing part of that due to work, so fuck me. Next up, though, we got the first of two Saturday games at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You got the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 9-5, taking on the Washington Commanders sitting at 4-10. The Eagles manhandled the Raiders in a get-right game this past week. Yeah, it was it was a really good. It was a pretty damn good performance overall. Hurts had a quarterback rating of 154.9, which is really damn good. 3 touchdown passes on the day, 12 for 15, 175 total yards. But then you also got the running game going a little bit with Barkley taking off a little bit on 22 carries. Got a little bit more of the ball this game. Yes, it was against the Raiders, which that's not really saying much, but with this hard stretch of your schedule out of the way, you really needed that bounce back game to get any confidence back in Philadelphia right now. Especially with the Cowboys falling on Sunday Night Football, it's a real huge boost to your NFC East hopes. The Eagles are going to be taking on the Washington Commanders, who, they did beat a New York Giants team, and they did announce today that Jaden Daniels is going to be benched for the rest of the season in favor of Marcus Mariota, which it's probably a good idea considering that you're not going anywhere this season. It's been a really down year for the Washington Commanders. Injuries, and then a definite down year just in general, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this bad. But hey, you'll take your wins whenever you can get them. Maybe the Commanders can try to play spoiler in this game against the Eagles, but I am going to go Philly in this game. I think the Eagles definitely have way more to play for than the Commanders, probably more than what Washington's really trying to put up a fight against. So, give me the Eagles in this game. Hopefully, it's going to be a good one. Then we got it could have been a game of the week if it wasn't what happened for the Packers. But anyways, the second Saturday game at 7:20 p.m. Central Standard Time, you got the Green Bay Packers sitting at 9-4-1, taking on the Chicago Bears sitting at 10-4. The Packers, it was one thing to lose against the Broncos and kind of give the Bears back the NFC North, but to do it while losing Micah Parsons with an ACL tear for the rest of the season, plus Christian Watson on the receiving end, really, really hurts this squad. Green Bay's probably picked the worst time to go through a bit of an injury bug, especially with the Bears coming up this week, who manhandled the Cleveland Browns. They gave Shedeur Sanders a really hard time on defense, and then the Bears kept capitalizing on everything that the defense was doing for them that day. So, the Bears built off a bit of momentum after the loss in Green Bay 2 weeks ago. What's the story going to be like this time? With the Packers having injuries, I might have been tempted to maybe lean Green Bay, but with the injuries piling up on Green Bay right now, especially on both sides of the ball, it's a perfect opportunity for Chicago to take advantage. Plus, I said 2 weeks ago that this probably was going to be a season split between the Packers and Bears, with the Packers taking the one at Lambeau and the Bears taking it here at Soldier Field. I'm not changing that perspective. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears this week. I think especially if the offense can get rolling without Micah Parsons being a threat and give Kalen Williams time, he's going to be able to find his receivers really easily, and that Bears offense can light up the Packers D very efficiently. Plus, this may be the week where Green Bay's offense finally slows down a little bit, especially without Christian Watson on the receiving end. It's going to be a really tough task to go up against the Bears defense, which has looked pretty damn decent as of late. So, give me the Bears in this one. Yeah, Green Bay, good luck in this fight, because you ticked off some Bears down in Chicago. It's not going to be easy. Next up, though, we got our first of several games in the noon slate on Sunday. You got the Buffalo Bills sitting at 10-4, taking on the Cleveland Browns sitting at 3-11. The Bills, a massive win over the Patriots in comeback fashion, down 21-0. But the resilience by this Bills team to consistently fight back and somehow manage to grab victory from the jaws of defeat. Oh man, this Bills team picked the right time to be this hot. The Bills on a 3-game winning streak right now, and yeah, now you're coming up into one of the easier games left on your schedule. Your only tough game left is against the Eagles, so with the Browns and Jets up on the schedule, they got to take advantage of it really damn easily. Especially with the Browns, who, Shedeur Sanders had a really, really bad game against the Bears. Ugh. But yes, the Browns, just, a little bit of a miserable game when you're trying to at least see how Shedeur looks. It's just going to be a really, damn difficult task to go up against Buffalo this week, especially since the Bills are coming off a really impressive comeback victory. The Bills trying to lock up a playoff spot. The Browns just hoping that Shedeur improves a little bit more, but still probably tanking for a high draft pick. I gotta go with the Bills this week. I'd be shocked if Cleveland pulls off a victory here. But we've seen crazier things happen before. So, it's not completely out of the question, but I gotta go with the hot hand in this one. Give me the Bills. Next up, this is gonna be a really interesting game between two historically bad chokers. You got the Los Angeles Chargers sitting at 10-4, taking on the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 6-7-1. Whoo! It's a good time to be a Chargers fan right now. The Chargers just delivered the knockout blow to the Kansas City Chiefs and eliminated them from playoff contention. So the NFL has the LA Chargers to thank for completing the job. It was an ugly victory, but hey, sometimes you take victories as you can get them. And yeah, now the Chargers find themselves on a 3-game winning streak after getting blown out in Jacksonville. They have also won 6 of the last 7 games, which is really, really damn impressive considering where they were at a few weeks ago, the weeks before that. So, I think this team's really found its momentum going forward. The Cowboys, though, they hit a brick wall this past week. They got beat by J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings, which is not a great look, especially coming off the Lions' defeat. So, your playoff homes are hanging on a thread. It's like a less than 1% chance for the Cowboys to make it. Obviously, it starts with winning the rest of your games, which, if you can get through LA this week, you got a very manageable schedule going down the stretch. This is the final home game for Dallas, however. And the other 2 games are divisional games. So, this is going to be a really interesting week for Dallas. They got to have this one. Unfortunately for them, the Chargers are just playing really good football right now and at a really good time. The Chargers still trying to also see if they can potentially overtake Denver in the AFC West. So I got to go with the LA Chargers in this one. I think especially if the offense can get finally get its groove back together, they can easily manhandle the Dallas defense. But the LA defense has to hold the Dallas offense pretty damn well, because otherwise it's going to be a really long day. So, give me the Chargers in this one. I could see Dallas pulling off an upset, but I gotta go with the Chargers here. Next up, oh boy, you got the team from the heart of America, the Kansas City Chiefs, sitting at 6-8, taking on the Tennessee Titans, sitting at 2-12. The Chiefs. It's one thing to get eliminated from the postseason. It's another thing to get eliminated by the hand of your divisional rival. It's a completely different level when your starting quarterback goes down with an ACL, LCL tear that keeps him out for the rest of the season and maybe missing the first week or two of next season. The good news is for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had a successful surgery this past Wednesday, I believe, in Dallas to repair that ACL LCL tear. For those of you who don't know, the reason it was operated this early was just because you didn't want that LCL getting any worse than it was. If it was just a simple ACL tear, they probably would have waited for surgery for a little while, but they didn't want to risk the LCL getting worse, so they decided to have surgery as soon as possible. He's on rehab right now. He's going to be out for potentially 9 months. However, they're going to be able to have a better timeline as soon as like training camp starts. So, with that being said, yeah, the Chiefs just really have nothing to play for at this point. Gardner Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback this week, going up against Tennessee, which it would be a nice victory to get over them. However, the problem is Cam Ward and the Titans have actually looked decent despite not really getting much success in the win column. The Titans have actually put up pretty damn good fights these past few games. The Titans beat Cleveland in Cleveland, and the Titans actually put up a really good fight against San Francisco this past week. So, at this point, you're just saying, it's not really it's gonna be kind of one of those games. I would say I would not be surprised if the Titans pulled off a victory against the Chiefs this week. However, I am going to go with the Chiefs. I think they are the better team on paper. Maybe Minshew gets things worked out that Patrick Mahomes couldn't this season. Maybe go down a stretch, maybe defeat Denver and Vegas as well to end things off on a high note. But for now, I got the Chiefs winning this game. I would not be surprised if the Titans somehow pull this off, especially with the way the Chiefs' offense has been looking these past few weeks. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs, but I'm not entirely confident about it. Next up, oh boy, you got the New York Jets sitting at 3-11, taking on the New Orleans Saints sitting at 4-10. The Jets. Oh god, the Jets. Yeah, that was a really bad performance in Jacksonville last week, losing 48-20. That was ugly. Yeah, 3 interceptions thrown by Brady Cook. Yeah, for one of his first starts as an NFL quarterback. Yeah, things aren't looking too bright. The Jets do get a little bit of leeway now going to New Orleans, taking on a easier defense, so he's not getting as lit up as he was last week, but still, that was not a really solid performance by the Jets, which at this point, they don't really care a whole lot. They're trying to tank for a draft pick. The Saints, however, they actually are coming off two really impressive games with the wins over Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago, and now upsetting the Carolina Panthers in the Superdome. Tyler Show has actually looked pretty decent these past few weeks. It's nothing to go riding home to your mother about, but still, that's a bright spot in this really lost season for New Orleans. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the play that New Orleans has been putting on is going to be the key difference, especially since they beat the 2 teams that are competing to win their division right now. So, I am gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. They've definitely been putting up a lot more of a fight the past few weeks than the Jets have. So, give me the Saints in this one. Maybe the Jets can somehow pull off a victory in New Orleans, but I don't really see it right now. Another noon slate game. You got the Minnesota Vikings sitting at 6-8, taking on the New York Giants sitting at 2-12. The Vikings may have just ended Dallas's hopes for getting into the postseason with a masterclass performance on Sunday Night Football. JJ McCarthy throws 250 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. He did have the pick, but still a really bounce back performance for JJ, or for 9 is whatever he wants to call it. It was a pretty solid day for the Vikings offense. Yes, it was against the Dallas defense, but still, you take wins whenever you can get them at this point in the season. As for the Giants, they don't really care about what happened last week as much, as long as Jackson Dart's looking really at least decent, which he kind of was. 246 total yards, 20 for 36. He did have 2 touchdowns, but he also did throw a pick, so it wasn't the worst day by Dart, but still, in this lost season, you just gotta take whenever you can get. And yeah, it's just counting down the days till the draft, Giants fans. It's gonna come soon. Neither of these teams really have much to play for at this point. It is just not a whole lot of bright spots for either team this season, with JJ going down during the first few weeks of the season and missing a lot of time to really develop himself. Jackson Dart goes down with an injury a few weeks later, so injuries have really defined the season. I really think New York could have been a better team if it wasn't for the fact that they lost Scadaboo, Dart, and Neighbors for a extended period of time. But maybe they'll get things together right in the draft, which they're going to try and tank for this week. There's not much else to be played right now, so I am going to go with the Vikings. I'm not entirely happy predicting this, because I could easily also see New York pulling off a win this week, but still, the Vikings are actually playing more competitively than the Giants, but are actually pulling off victories. So I am going to go with Minnesota this week. There's not much else to play for other than pride at this point. So, yeah. Give me the Minnesota Vikings. Please and thank you. Up next, oh boy, this is going to be a really interesting matchup, actually. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers. Both teams sitting at 7-7. And a tie for the NFC South crown. Also, hello, Little Mel. Hello, Zero. I just now noticed you guys. I'm sorry. The Buccaneers. Oh boy, that is just inexcusable how they lost. How in the world do you let a team commit 19 penalties on a single game and you still let them beat you? How? The things have really fallen apart for Tampa Bay these past few weeks. The Buccaneers just not being able to find anything going right now. They have been just, ugh. Their last good game was back in October. Since then, they've lost to the Patriots. They've lost to the Bills. They got blown out by the Rams. They barely beat Arizona. They lost to the Saints. They lost to the Falcons. That is ugly. That is extremely ugly, and this team has really been falling apart. People are calling for Todd Bowles' job right now, and for him to get the boot. But still, he has his team sitting at 7-7. But when you're on a 1-5 streak, you were once 6-2. You were once 6-2. Now you're 7-7. Things have just completely gone downhill for the Buccaneers. It doesn't help that they've had injuries over the season, but still, the coaching job is just really, really questionable for Tampa Bay right now. As for the Panthers, they aren't really doing much better. They got beat by the Saints this past week, upset fashion. This team is so inconsistent and cannot take advantage of the Buccaneers falling right now. This team could easily be in first place on several occasions. They could have been in first when they played the Niners on Monday Night Football. They could have been in first this past week when they played the Saints, a really big game after beating the Rams. But still, they cannot put it together somehow, some way. It's even after coming off the bye. This team has been incredibly inconsistent. Oh boy. So who do you go with in this game? As I don't like picking either of these teams, to be honest. Both teams have really shown me reasons why I shouldn't pick them. However, I am going to go with the Carolina Panthers. While the Panthers have been incredibly inconsistent, the Buccaneers have just been consistently bad these past few weeks. So, I'm not feeling too comfortable about the pick, but give me Carolina in this game, and they'll finally turn a corner. Up next, though, is our last noon game. Thank God it got flexed out of the Sunday night game. I would have been so pissed. You got the Cincinnati Bengals sitting at 4-10, taking on the Miami Dolphins sitting at 6-8. The Bengals. That was probably the worst performance of the year, and it wasn't even close. The Bengals just getting shut out. By the Baltimore Ravens. The defense, we knew the defense was bad, but the offense also did not show up that day. That was ugly overall. At this point, you're just wondering if he should just bench Joe Burrow, let him heal up and whatnot, so he doesn't get killed by his offensive line not being able to protect him. But I'm not in charge of the Bengals, so I'm not really going to be complaining a whole lot. Miami, though, they have decided to bench Tua after this past week. Yeah, the Dolphins got beat by the Steelers on Monday night, ending their kind of ride and getting them eliminated from the postseason. So, yeah, so they are going to turn to a rookie from Texas, Quinn Ewers, to get the start on this one. The thing about it is, Miami is all around meh to bad team. Cincinnati, they have really big extremes. The defense, outright horde. The offense, they're good when they're on, they're pretty good, but they need a lot of help in the draft. So, with this being said, I think Quinn Ewers is going to try and prove himself this game. I am going to go with the Dolphins in this one. I know it's not entirely a favorable pick, but still, I'm going with Miami in this one. I think Quinn Ewers is going to have a really good day. He's been learning behind Tua. He's been learning behind the backup QB for Miami. I forgot who it was at this point. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Yeah. See if they can salvage anything out of this lost season. We do have 4 afternoon games, 2 3:05 games, starting with probably one of the best games of the week. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at 10-4, taking on the Denver Broncos sitting at 12-2. The Jaguars completely obliterated the Jets. A really solid day for Jacksonville all around. Trevor Lawrence had himself a fantastic day. 5 touchdown passes. And 6 total touchdowns. 5 in the air, 1 on the ground. 20 for 32, 333 total yards, no picks, no sacks. Probably the greatest day for Trevor Lawrence this season. On top of that, the Jacksonville offense really all put it all together. And yeah, it was just a really solid effort for Jacksonville this past week. They're going to get tested, though, this week, because they got to go to Denver, which not the Dolphins. Why am I thinking of Miami? The Broncos have been putting it all together. That's a statement win over Green Bay. Yes, I know they did lose. The Packers did lose Watson and Parsons during the game, but still, Denver had a really solid day from the offense, which has been something they've really been needing the past few weeks, and they got it. 302 yards through the air, 4 touchdown passes for Bo Nix. 23 for 34, 137 for 34.7 QB rating. Such a solid day for both of these offenses. But the thing is about this game, I know Denver, this definitely looks like a spot where they're due for a loss. This definitely could look like a spot. However, playing in Mile High is not an easy feat, especially for a team that's just not really used to the altitude or the cold weather in the mountain areas. And for Denver, that defense is no joke. They are legit, and they are going to put up some good numbers. Plus, the Jacksonville offense, that was a one in a special day. I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that, especially against a much tougher defense. So give me Denver in this game. I would not be surprised, though, if Jacksonville somehow pulls this off. But the Broncos are just too hot right now. I got to go with the hot hand. So, give me Denver in this one. The other 305 game, you got the Atlanta Falcons sitting at 5-9, taking on the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 3-11. The Falcons, they are trying to find some way to fire their head coach right now, but when you pull off upsets like they do, it's so hard to right now. The Falcons, somehow I have no idea how you managed to pull off 19 penalties and still win the goddamn game. But hey, you're not complaining a whole lot. So, with that being said, the Falcons have actually been playing some good competitive football these past few weeks. Take away the Seahawks game though. But yeah, the Falcons have actually been putting up a good fight in these past few weeks, minus the Seahawks game from 2 weeks ago. So, in this game against Arizona, yeah, the Cardinals have officially fallen off in terms of the offense. They are no longer playing really good competitive football. They're just losing flat out badly. They got blown out 40-20 against the Texans. Jacoby Brissett had a pretty decent game on the air, but still not enough, especially with the defense really collapsing in this game. So, who do I got in this game? I think I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one. Atlanta has been playing more competitive and good football as of late. The Cardinals, not so much. So, in this one, where it's going to be a really interesting one. But I am going to go with the Falcons. I would not be surprised, though, if the Cardinals somehow managed to take this one, especially being played in the desert, but I got to go with Atlanta. Then we got 2 325 games this week. First up, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 8-6, taking on the Detroit Lions sitting at 8-6. The Steelers are coming off a pretty damn good victory over the Dolphins. It's actually a really solid game by Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. 224 total yards in the air, 23 for 27 on the air, 2 touchdowns thrown by Rodgers. Had a really damn good game overall. On top of that, the defense was able to actually sack Tua like 4 times, which is something that's been lacking these past this entire season. So maybe the defense is finally starting to get a little bit of a turn. However, they are going to go up against a Lions team that's really looking for redemption. The Lions, a tough loss against the against the Los Angeles Rams. And yeah, it's just been a very up and down year for the Lions. Is there anybody in this one? At the moment, Sorry about that. Bit of a room inspection jump scare. So, anyways, um, back to the Lions. They've had a decent season. Definitely not a great one. Um, Especially been a down year for Detroit somehow. Um, but yeah, the Lions. I think they really need this one more right now. Than the Steelers do. Especially they've been playing incredibly inconsistent, but at least they're getting the wins when they absolutely need to. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, has been known to find ways to somehow choke these games away and leads away this season. So, in terms of the divisional race, so I'm gonna go with Detroit in this one. It's gonna be a really interesting game overall. To see especially how the Steelers really bounce back and Detroit bounce back and see how the Steelers handle the last few weeks of their season, especially since they got to play Baltimore later on. But I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions for now. So yeah, that's my prediction for that game. Next up, though, oh god, this is gonna be incredibly ugly. Look at the odds. Look at the betting odds. Oh god, you got the yeah. Oh, yeah, God, I can't even call them the bubonic plague of the NFL anymore. It's just sad. The Las Vegas Raiders sitting at 2-12, taking on the Houston Texans sitting at 9-5. The Texans. What else can I really say about this game? The Raiders are just. No matter who's starting for the Raiders, they've just looked really, really bad. I'm so sorry that they got curb stomped by Philadelphia. And yeah, it's just a really, really bad year for the Raiders. The Texans on a hot streak right now. After beating the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, they turn around and clobber the Cardinals. Yeah, what else can I say about this game? I'm going Texans. If the Raiders somehow win this game, I think it will be the upset of the year. But yeah, give me the Raiders, or not the Raiders, the Texans in this one. We got two more picks to go though. You got the on Sunday Night Football. You got the New England Patriots sitting at 11-3, taking on the Baltimore Ravens sitting at 7-7. The Patriots, yeah, I kind of forgot to take into account the strength of victory this season has been horrendous. Let's look at their wins this season. Went to Miami, beat a team that's 6-8. Beat Carolina, who's 7-7. Beat Buffalo, who's sitting at right now at 10-4. Okay, that's a solid start. That's a really solid start. That's two teams that are around 500 and one team that's pretty well into a playoff position. Okay, what's the rest of their schedule looking like? Beat the Saints, who are 4-10. Beat the Titans, who are 2-12. Beat the Browns, who are 3-11. Beat the Falcons, who are 5-9. Beat the Buccaneers, who are sitting at 7-7. Beat the Jets, who are sitting at 3-11. Beat the Bengals, who are sitting at 4-10. Beat the Giants, who are sitting at 2-12. Yeah. Yeah, that strength of victory is just not really good. And they finally, they actually had a pretty damn good game against Buffalo until they collapsed that lead. Oh boy. The Patriots just cannot have nice things, can they? They are going to be taking on a Baltimore Ravens team who are trying to continue their bounce back after destroying Cincinnati last week. This was the game that got flexed into the Sunday night slate. So it's going to be Drake May against Lamar Jackson, and that offense has been incredibly inconsistent this year. So, with that being said, can the Patriots really take advantage of the Ravens defense, who are still recovering a little bit from injuries? Maybe they got a lot of their key players back though. So, I could easily see this being a Baltimore win. However, they've been incredibly inconsistent this past few weeks, so yeah. I think I could see Baltimore taking this game. I am gonna go Baltimore. especially with New England struggling against teams now that are trying to lock down playoff positions. It's going to be a really interesting game. If the New England Patriots can pull this one off, they pretty much have the division on lock, with their remaining games being against the Jets and Dolphins. So yeah, give me the Patriots or give me the Ravens in this one, but it's going to be tight. Finally, Monday Night Football. You got the San Francisco 49ers sitting at 10-4, taking on the Indianapolis Colts, sitting at 8-6. The 49ers, yeah, they are not going away anytime soon. They are still a game behind the Rams and Seahawks, and they will be behind the NFC West winner as long as they take care of business this week. Assuming that the Niners win. Yeah. They'll be a game behind them. They are trying to lock down a playoff spot. Somehow this team is just on fire right now. So they are going to be going against a team on the opposite end of the spectrum. They were once a team that have really been doing really damn well, and then the wheels started to fall apart. Philip Rivers actually had himself a meh game. He kept the team in it somehow, but yeah, it was not the greatest game for the Colts, and you're just really hoping to cling on to anything that's left in the season. But yeah, it's going to be a tight game. I am going to go with the 49ers, however. I think they're definitely a better team on paper. They've been playing way more consistent football than the Colts. And yeah, they're really trying to lock down a playoff spot at this moment in time. So yeah, give me the 49ers in this one. The point amounts, I could say about 50 would be a good total. You know, I'll even be generous. I'll say 60. But yeah, that's my predictions for this week. Sorry, I got a little bit of a jump scare with the room inspection, but still got everything down for this week. I'm hoping this is gonna finally be the week where I put it all together. Maybe I maybe I do well in this, because yeah, I am currently 160,000th in the rankings in my group, so, or overall in all of ESPN, 4,397th place in my group. So, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this stream. Go KSU. Lucky. Oh my god. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share the channel around. It helps me grow. I may do something tomorrow. It's going to really depend. But otherwise, Cards Against Humanity for the birthday stream on Saturday. It's going to be a really, really fun time. I'm 11 subs away from 200, so I'm hoping to get to that by the end of the year. But yeah. Outside of that, hopefully things on the football front are going to be a lot better. So, with that being said, see you later, peeps. Thanks for watching.